Hello everybody, it's Sephiroth4 for another weekly update. A few things. First of all, the video schedule for this week should be normal. And by normal I mean I recorded, at the beginning of last week, I recorded 2 weeks worth of Final Fantasy X-2 content, half of which was obviously uploaded this past week, and half of which, the other 3 videos will be uploaded this week. I already edited them and uploaded them to YouTube, so I don't have to deal with that. After this week, I'm going to be putting up VODs from the Stanley Parable, because I'm not going to be recording for a while. If you haven't been following, I'm getting surgery on Wednesday. If you really haven't been following, I have rods and screws in my back, and I've had them for 9 years now, and I've had them changed multiple times, especially in the past year and a half, and they have been getting progressively worse and giving me progressively less time in between before loosening and causing me pain, so the determination was made to remove them. So Wednesday I'm going to be having the rods removed. Some of the screws will be staying just because they're cemented in. They might be taking just the loose ones out, but the rods are going to be taken out, and those are the things that are causing the pain because they're torquing the loose screws. So we're hoping that this will be the end of my pain problems. We're hoping. Compared to my previous surgery, which was last August, where they had to take the fibula out of my leg and graft it onto my spine and take a vein out of my leg and help that as a fuel source for the fibula to grow, and it was a very, very long, arduous process. This will be relatively simple / less complicated. They just need to open me up along the seam that I have in my back now, that I've had from the last 3 times they've opened me up in the same spot. They're just going to open up the seam, unscrew stuff, and remove the rods, and I think that's it. The doctor had mentioned something about possibly taking the fibula out if it wasn't in a good spot because it really didn't fuse, but I don't think he's going to actually end up doing that. But so they don't need to do a whole load of stuff. So I'm still going to be in the hospital for a few days. But recovery time is measured for hardware removal. Recovery time is measured in weeks instead of months, because nothing has to solidify. And so the hope is that I will be back on my feet much sooner than I had been with previous surgeries. The only thing we know right now, because, anything can happen, and I've obviously not had successful long-term surgeries with my back, but the only thing we know right now is that I'm in a considerable amount of pain all the time. When we were talking to the doctor, about a month ago, my surgeon, and saying to him, like, okay, so what do we do? He's like, well, I guess we're gonna have to take out the hardware because it's obviously just not working. But he wanted me to keep it in as long as possible so that the fusion in my back could be as stable as possible to try to grow, like, in any minute way that it is, because even though the bone is dead there now, it's still, when bone touches bone, it calcifies. That's what, like, arthritis is and stuff. When you have the stuff in between disappears and it's just bone on bone, and it calcifies and you get arthritis. So we were hoping that the area would stabilize a little bit more, and I would try to hold out as long as possible. So they said, how long do you think you can do that? And I said, thinking about the progression of every time in the past this has gotten worse and how fast it was getting worse this time, I said, I have a month. I have a month before I'm completely incapacitated by this. And lo and behold, it's been a month. And I spent the last week in bed. I couldn't sit in chairs. I was in agony all day and all night. And I'm in agony right now. I'm in a chair, as you can see. I'm in my desk chair. I'm not comfortable. And I'm probably going to be going into a recliner or my bed after the weekly update here. But yeah, it has been a month, and I was right on the nose. I can't do anything. So yeah, I'm really hoping that the surgery is it, because we don't have a plan for what to do. Like last time it was, let's try something new with the fusion, but I don't have another option with the fusion that isn't one of the most invasive procedures I've ever heard of, which involves going in from the front to solidify, to stabilize your spine, as opposed to going from the back. And yeah, you're saying, oh my god, going to the spine from the front? Yeah, exactly. I'm not doing that. I refuse to do that, and no one is suggesting it anyway. But yeah, we don't have any plans after this. Like, we finally got a second opinion. We had asked someone 3 weeks ago who was very respected and a friend of ours, to take a look at my x-rays and MRIs and CTs and all that. And he didn't get back to us until last week, and didn't explain why it took him so long to get back to us. That's an issue for another time for him, I guess. But and yeah, he just took a look at it, and he finally called us after not calling us, and he said, personally, I wouldn't take the hardware out, and I think that you should go talk to so-and-so in this hospital in Philadelphia and see what he has to say. And we're like, first of all, it would have been great if you told us this 2 weeks ago. If this was the advice you were going to give, to talk to someone else. But like, New Jersey and Pennsylvania have problems with insurance going from one state to another because of a stupid law that New Jersey passed a few years ago, pretty much saying that New Jersey patients are not allowed to go out of state anymore. Because that's just how things, that's politics, whatever. I'm not getting into that. So, like, to even talk to the guy would take weeks of insurance wrangling, saying, why are we trying to talk to a new doctor when we have our doctors already that we already got insurance approval for to get the surgery from? And then that guy isn't going to immediately do something. He's going to have to talk to me and take a look at the stuff and then have me come back for another thing. And, by the time that any plan of action is given, which, this guy that we were talking to now didn't have an alternate solution other than talk to this other guy. So by the time we had a plan of action, it's going to be like July, and I'm going to be dead. So, like, I don't know, like, what we were told him, like, I am stuck in bed all the time now in agony. What do you suggest? And he's like, well, I don't think you should go with the surgery. You should go talk to this guy. And we're like, thanks for telling us now. So, we're obviously not listening to him. Aside from the fact that he didn't really give us a particular amount of respect with our time, but, like, it's just like, it's too late. What we saw online, and the problem is with saying that, it sounds like the the anti-vaxxers are saying, well, I did my own research, I don't have to listen to the doctors. But like, the research that we did looking up what other doctors have to say about hardware removal in cases of spinal fusion not working is that the pain goes away when you take the hardware out. So, like, do we take the possibility that our surgeon is giving us, or do we take no suggestion and wait longer after my deadline of this is the most I'm going to be able to handle before I start going crazy? So we're going for the surgery. But yeah, that was just very unhelpful week. But we have the insurance approval. The anesthesia department also called us and they're like, hey, you need to get blood work so that in case you need blood products during the surgery, we can know your blood type and stuff, which they should have that on file already because I've been to that hospital for almost 10 years now. But we'll pretend that they need it for something new, or they're not allowed to use old records or whatever. But, so they said, here's a place close to you in New Jersey, that's a affiliate of ours, because we want you to do something in network for us, as opposed to doing our, somewhere near us and then having them send the results. I guess it's just to make it faster. And so we called them and they're like, yeah, sure. Can we schedule an appointment? They're like, oh, you need to get insurance approval to have blood drawn. So we'll contact you when we get the insurance approval. We have your order in the system, but we have to contact you when you get insurance approval. We're like, cool, I have the surgery on Wednesday. And they're like, yeah, we see that. And like, okay, so how long does insurance approval take? Just somewhere up to 14 days. Oh, no, the kicker was, so originally I had called. I made a lot of calls myself this week. I hate talking on the phone to people. It gives me anxiety. I hate it more than so many other things. I made a lot of calls this week. So I called the people to set up the appointment. And they said, oh, the scheduler is taking someone's labs. We'll have her call you back, but we see that your stuff is in the system. We'll have her call you back to set up a thing. So like, cool. The rest of the day goes by, no call. This is Thursday. Friday morning, I call them again. They're like, oh yeah, my name is Dove and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, let me put you onto the scheduler, and then like put me on hold for a second. And then the same person comes back is like, okay, so there's a hold on you being able to do this because we need to get insurance approval. So we sent out already a thing yesterday, and we'll call you. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just saying to myself, couldn't tell me that yesterday? You couldn't tell me yesterday that you're waiting for insurance approval? I had to call back to find out and have you say that don't call us, we'll call you? I hate that. Everyone I know in America that has had to have any sort of anything medical hates the health system, but my God. 10 years of surgery and cancer and experimental medication, like having to deal with all of this all the time is driving me crazy. But anyway, so Wednesday, hopefully we'll have the surgery despite that, and they'll be like, uh-oh, I guess we're just taking your labs now before the surgery or whatever and trying to get the results quickly. I also have to get a COVID test within the next 2 days, but that's easy because there's a person here that does it, and they allow for rapid tests and stuff, so that'll be easy. But yeah, so this has been a very, very stressful, aside from the pain and the debilitation, this has been a very stressful time. And please pray that it works. I've been having recurring nightmares, like actual nightmares, not just day thoughts, but nightmares where, I wake up from surgery and I can't move because the thing that has been stabilizing my back for 9 years now is gone, and my body has atrophied to a point where it can't adapt to not having an external, apparatus. Or like, I come home and I trip and something breaks. Like, you don't know how scared I am all the time of even the slightest of falls or trips and jarring of anything now, because of how fragile the area is and how much worse it can make my life. Like, breaking a bone sucks. I broke my foot once, and it hurt, but I had to get a cast, and I was like, whatever. But like, I'm so absolutely terrified of a minor injury that will do something bad to my spine. Especially since for the last year and a half I've been recovering from a surgery or another. So like, I had to do even less and had to be even more careful with everything I do. Like, every time I go driving, I'm like, oh my god, what if I get into a car accident and this is just the end for me? Like, it's going to ruin my life from, like, a fender bender. So yeah, it's just a lot of stress. And I hate the feeling of fragility that I've had for so long. I'm hoping that without the apparatus, I'll be able to start working on my body strengthening itself again. And like, the real big issue is whether or not without the rod, the spine is going to start shaping itself in the wrong direction. It's called a deformity in the spine. There's a chance, and we really won't know until it happens. If it happens. So like, I'm going to get physical therapy. But like, it's a worry. But anyway, I've been talking a lot. Let's go quickly through the week here. I did do some art. I started Patreon things. I'm just gonna show this off. The other stuff is on Twitter. You can see it. But I did Mermaid Rosajon. Let's focus that. There we go. Mermaid Rosajon. I really, really like how this came out. I was able to do that in an afternoon. I had a lot of fun with the scales on that, and I did a thing for disc only, this thing for a Xenoblade stream, which was kind of funny. But yeah, I have about 2 minutes left before I'm going to lay down, so let's just see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. I put up the Let's Draw video on my regular YouTube. Once again, if you want to get in on Patreon, for the price of a Twitch sub, $5 a month, you can get access to time lapses and works in progress and just give me support, because I'm not being paid by disability anymore. Yeah, this is the first month in a very long time that I have not gotten any disability money, because disability decided that I'm perfectly fine. So if you want to help me in a very tiny way, but any way helps, Patreon is the way to do that, because Twitch takes half of the stuff, so I get $2.50 out of the $5, but Patreon takes like 1% or something, so I get like $4.90 out of the $5. So Patreon is much better than Twitch if you want to keep up something. I know you don't get emotes through Patreon, but I'm going to shill it, because I don't know, that's the best way to support me while also getting something at least. Nintendo Switch Sports is really fun. I started Great Ace Attorney 2. It's starting off really, really fancy. I'm sorry there was no Stanley Parable stream last week. Like I said, I was in bed all week, and we probably will not have it this week either, unfortunately. And I'm really sorry for that, because I really wanted to do more, but it is what it is, unfortunately. But yeah, I've been been having increasingly difficult time with pain and with mental states, and this surgery is really my, it's a Christian term, it's my Hail Mary, but I don't have any other options after this. So yeah. Yeah, nothing really else happened this year. Wow, yeah, good. Nothing happened this year. I talked a lot on Twitter about being you, like being who you present yourself to be in your content, and the context for that is that, like, I have a lot of people that I consider cool that follow me, with like a lot of followers, or that like I just look up to, and sometimes I get really self-conscious. I'm like, oh god, I tweet and retweet the stupidest things, and they're probably looking at me like I'm an idiot, but like what do I do? Like, do I just stop doing the things that I like because someone outside my control decide to follow me? And the answer is no. Excuse me, I'm sorry. The answer is no. You shouldn't change yourself to try to conform to be marketable, because then you're not you, and that doesn't end up well for anyone, really. Either people end up saying, oh, this person's fake, or you just get really depressed because a couple years go by and you don't know who you are anymore. But yeah, so I don't know, I think about that a lot, and if you see me being stupid on Twitter or Discord or whatever, it's because I really don't care. Like, I just want to do the things that I find enjoyable or funny, or say the funny things, without like, and I don't get popular because I don't curate myself in that regard. It doesn't give you a license to be a bad person, but it's just, I like the way that I put it is that it takes enough energy just being me. I don't have the energy to be another Dovey as well. So yeah, the plain old Dovey that you have here is what you see is what you get, unfortunately. But yeah, that's about it for this week, though. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate everybody. The hospital stay should be, I mean, every time I've gotten back surgery, and even the last one, which was really bad, I was out in 3 days. So this one, which should be out of the 4, should be the easiest. I'm hoping 3 days max I'll be out, but definitely before Sunday. So hopefully you'll see me again here next week for the weekly update. But I appreciate your support in general. Thank you for being you, as always. I really do appreciate people trying to be their genuine selves, because it takes a lot of energy to hide yourself. And I feel like, the people that have the courage or the ability to be themselves are really cool. The people that have to hide themselves for whatever reason, you're also really cool. I'm not saying you're not, and I appreciate the struggles that you go through. But yeah, regardless, thank you for being you, inside or out. And yeah, I'll talk to you all next week. Thank you very much for watching. It's been several to 4. And remember to be good to each other. Bye-bye.